This is the BBC Breaking News. I'm Aura Zahra and I'm bringing you the latest news for today. President Volodymyr Zelensky presented a 10-point peace plan to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine in the video speech to G20 leaders. The steps include a path to nuclear safety, food security, and special tribunal for alleged Russian war crimes. Zelensky made an unannounced visit to Kherson Monday to celebrate Ukraine's recapture of the strategic southern city. Kherson is now on the front line of the war after Russian forces withdrew from the region west of the Dnipro River late last week. Ukrainian officials are restoring key services in part of the region, but the military warns that Russian attacks are a present danger even in liberated areas.
Я хочу, щоб ця агресивна російська війна закінчилась справедливо і на основі статуту ООН і міжнародного права, а не аби як, за влучним формулюванням пана генерального секретаря ООН Антоніо Гутерреша. Не варто пропонувати Україні компроміси з совістю, суверенітетом, територією та незалежністю. Ми поважаємо правила і ми люди слова. Україна завжди була лідером миротворчих зусиль, і світ це бачив. І якщо Росія каже, що ніби Росія має вивести всі свої війська та збройні формування з території України, має бути відновлений контроль України над всіма ділянками нашого державного кордону з Росією. Саме це матиме наслідком реальне і повне припинення бойових дій. Кожен день зволікання з цим означає нові смерті українців, нові загрози для світу і шалене зростання збитків через продовження російської агресії, збитків для всіх у світі.
That is the main focus. It was inevitable with President Zelensky addressing all the delegates here by video link and giving that impassioned speech that he did, calling them to make this the moment when they closed down the Ukraine war, that they shouldn't give in to Russian nuclear blackmail. There's a kind of split here, really, in some ways, although everyone here agrees the war in Ukraine is an urgent priority and there's been a united call to end that war as soon as possible. You've got the US and its allies, the G7 group, if you like, really pushing for a hard line against Russia, for Russia to be condemned and isolated. And to some degree, the Russian foreign minister, who's come instead of Vladimir Putin here, does cut something of an isolated figure. He's been placed together. You see him sitting with some of the other foreign ministers. But other countries here aren't willing to sign up to quite such a confrontational approach. They say, yes, the war in Ukraine must end. Perhaps you use more subtle diplomacy to do it. And they're also concerned that the real issues they want to talk about here, these are also urgent, getting the global economy going again, dealing with acute problems with food security and energy supplies, and looking at climate change, that those are being eclipsed by the concerns about Ukraine and the kind of superpower rivalry we've seen between the US and China. So there is a difference in perspective which has made it quite difficult for them to agree on a final communique. We believe they have agreed, and we believe that all of them will sign up to a very strong statement on Ukraine, but it's unlikely to be as strong as what is wanted by the United States and its allies, who argue ultimately that a lot of the problems they want to talk about here, like food security, are actually being massively accentuated by the Ukraine war. So there is that difference here in how you approach the Ukraine war that makes it quite difficult to find a consensus on other issues.
That's all for the news. Wait for the next news, and goodbye.